Hey guys, Vicky here, and the 16th book that I've read this year is called Walmart Inside Out by Ron Lovelace, From Stockboy to Stockbroker, with Anna Morton. And I got a lot out of this book. It actually felt like I was having a conversation with Ron, who used to be an executive for Walmart. And it's interesting, I was fortunate enough to go to Arkansas earlier this year and really understand everything about, well, as much as I could about Walmart and its growth period. Like, I know a lot of people boycott Walmart here, there, and that, but the growth is very interesting of how Sam Walton did things. He basically did what their current motto is we help people save money so they live better lives. You know, he was known as a very frugal fellow, according to Ron and according to what I learned at the Walmart Museum. So frugal that he wouldn't even buy an expensive car. His car was an old car, and he would make sure that none of his managers or executives, even in the Walmart headquarters in Rogers, Arkansas, he made sure that they did not have a car that was a Mercedes or anything expensive, because of the fact that he was afraid that his customers might think that they're making too much money. But he gave fair price to everyone. Even the name Walmart. See how short it was? They wanted it short so that their first store would have a cheaper to have than a longer name. To have their name on bright lights on the store. So that this was basically the name they chose, so they saved money. So it's interesting, because if it was Walmart and Co., it'd be an extra how many letters, and that cost more money. So it's interesting as well. He loved his store so much, he would even take his plane and fly over the competitors' parking lots to see how many cars are parked there, and to see if they can beat them when it comes to having more sales and having those people come to his store. It's just very interesting at that time, because he was one of the first ones who offered buy quantity and sell to many. Because back then they had small general stores where they buy little and sell high. So for example, Ben Franklin, stores like that, Walmart ended up buying them out because they didn't follow his system. I believe he actually offered that to Ben Franklin, the opportunity of buying lots and then selling for cheaper, but they didn't go with it. And now Walmart is around the world, the biggest company in the world. And so when I read this, I was really listening to what Ron said. I mean, the things that he went through, and having to call him, or having a privilege to work with Sam Walton. You know, his mother was one of their maids, I believe, and you know, he was lucky enough to start as a stock boy at one of his stores. And I think one of the things I got was, you know, the advice he gives to younger people, and to take what he had in his life and to really learn from it instead of going through the same thing. So what he says here, with the advantage of age and wisdom, I look back on my early marriage and realized that I wasn't really ready to marry and start a family at this stage of maturity or finances. My advice to young people would be to become financially stable and be sure you're ready for lifelong commitment before taking the giant step into marriage. Although the marriage lasted 18 years, the first 7 years were really tough indeed. So I remember one of my friends pointing that out, and you know, it's so true. Like me not being married, he's not married as well, both in relationships, but you know, we know that you have to make sure you're financially stable to get married, because a lot of people don't do that. They just go ahead and, okay, yeah, it's gonna work out, but you know, you want to make sure that you have it all right there. And just goes into just a lot of things that he did. He made some mistakes. You know, he talked about Sam Walton being frugal, but one of the mistakes is, you know, he wished he wasn't the way he was, being a womanizer and, you know, cheating on his first wife. You know, it's just the one thing that he did say in the book is people think the grass is always greener on the other side, and 100% of the time it's not. Like one of my mentors who's been married for over 30 years said the same thing. The grass is not always greener on the other side. 90% of the time is not. So if you feel like, you know, performing infidelity or cheating on someone, it doesn't end up to be the best decision, or even breaking off that relationship. You know, sometimes it could be. It depends on the person, right? So, but the grass ain't always greener on the other side. And the end really got to me, and this is what I got out of the book. I got a lot that, you know, it came down to the times where this is not so much a religious book, but, you know, you can tell his belief was in God, and, you know, whoever you believe in, you know, it's fine. And, you know, he said, looking back at periods of time when I was close to God, attending church regularly, tithing, and doing my best to live the life that God teaches us, and my life was good. You know, it doesn't have to be God, it could just be source or universe, and just being close to that pure love is when his life was good. He was rewarded financially, and his family was happy, and he was happy. In the times he was furthered himself away from God, you know, ignoring him, ignoring pure source or pure love, that he found himself in trouble, and his family was in trouble as well. So that is a lesson, and that is his testimony. We make the choices in our lives. We can choose the good or the bad, and we recap the consequences that go with the choices. My hope in writing this is that someone somewhere might benefit from it and avoid the mistakes that I've made. So if you ever want to know what it was to be, you know, in Sam Walton's mind, and to even be associated with him, read this book, because a lot of other books besides the ones written by Sam Walton that Ron says in his book is that a lot of them boycott Walmart and say that Sam was this terrible guy, but he actually had first-hand knowledge that he worked with Sam for all those years. So if you want to really know how Sam Walton was, like, read this book. Walmart Inside Out by Ron Lovelace and co-author Anna Morton. Thank you.